Good morning, everybody. This is Ruben again with the video here over the topic of the sovereignty of God. Something I've been thinking about for a couple of days now. I've been waking up early a lot lately. Maybe I've got some neurological problem. I don't know what it is, but I'll be getting up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I'm stressing work or stressing things at home. Whatever it is, I'm just taking some time to just pray and meditate and review a bunch of things in my life. And the topic of the sovereignty of God came up this morning as I was sitting in my kitchen drinking coffee, just kind of meditating and thinking about how God mysteriously works all things together for our good. We're all familiar with the passage in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, where Paul is telling the Roman church that God works all things together for good, you know? So maybe God allows, we use that word tongue in cheek, maybe God allows bad things to happen because he's got a plan. I think so. But a brother of mine who just got out from prison, he's on parole. He had to relocate from San Antonio to Houston just abruptly out of nowhere. He had to go because of some certain parole stipulations that he had to meet. And so he wasn't able to meet them there in San Antonio. He got moved. He's in a halfway house in Houston now. And so one of the things I began to share with him was God has a method that is beyond our comprehension of protecting us. Sometimes God allows things to happen that are far beyond our understanding, far beyond our reason, in an effort to protect us. So while we may not know what's going on behind the scenes, just like in the book of Job didn't know what was going on, and he was subjected to unimaginable pain, and yet God was working behind the scenes. So this is the sovereignty of God at work, God working things, good and bad things. The key is obviously trusting and having faith in him, but is getting a better understanding of what God defines as good. In the book of Matthew chapter 7, Jesus tells his disciples that, hey, you guys that are parents, you know how to give good things to your kids, right? If your kid asks you for a fish, you're not going to give him, a scorpion or a serpent. If your kid asks you for bread, you're not going to give him a stone. And Jesus uses the analogy of fatherhood and parenthood and is teaching us that as parents, we know how to give good things to our kids. And so God, in an infinite way, knows how to give good things to us. And so the challenge for me and for you is to accept what is good in God's eyes. For example, there's a psalm, I forgot exactly where it's at, but it says that God takes pleasure in the death of his saints. And so here we have at least one passage in the Bible that tells us that God likes when we die. God likes when his children, the Christians, the church, when we die. So how do you wrap your mind around that? We experience physical death as Christians, and we mourn and cry and grieve, and rightfully so. And here God is saying, yes, come on up here. So therein is a challenge. What is good to God, 9 times out of 10, we're going to think it's bad. I have kids. Me and Penny, we have a son and we have a daughter. And they think that the things that we do to protect them are very, very bad. We're restrictive. We don't let them do certain things. But in reality, we're not being restrictive. We're being protective. It's just that in being protective, we have to restrict certain things. God is the same way. God will move heaven and earth and do all kinds of things to protect you and to protect me. And he calls that good. So again, the challenge in understanding the sovereignty of God is being able to accept by faith and trusting that whatever he allows to happen is because he's working all things together for our good to protect us. Because in reality, we find ourselves in danger in more ways than we can imagine. But that's why he's our Father and he's taking care of us. So that's my thought this morning, thinking about God protecting me, thinking about God working all things together for our good. God bless you. I'm going to go clock in and get some work done and get this day started. Love you guys. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.